Hi everyone. I just tried to do this, but I'm gonna hold the phone because I don't know. I have a new cell phone. It's like I don't know what was going on with that. All right, this is the June Soul Channel report, and the theme for June is frequency over details. And the first I want to explain what that means, and let's just also first just take a breath if you are joining me for this live, or hi Jermaine, or you're watching the recording. Let's just take a couple breaths here, letting the whole pelvis, the base of the spine relax. Letting the shoulders relax. Okay, cool. So the May Soul Channel report was about staying open. And when things are traumatic and destabilized and unfamiliar, it can be hard to want to stay open. We oftentimes want to crunch up. We want to close down. But we really live in a time right now where there's nothing to go back to. There's no, sometimes we have this sort of great, huge transformation in our life, whatever brings that, whether it's a big loss or a death or a birth of some sort is usually what brings that to us. And so in the death or the birth, and usually they're happening simultaneously, right? With every death, there's a birth. With every birth, there's a death. And we're experiencing that collectively right now. And in that experience, it can feel really unfamiliar and scary. Hi, Mira, I've been thinking about you. And we can want to close down, and we're really in an experience where we have to stay open. So that was May, and that's the deep work, is when you want to close down and you just have to stay open and keep your heart open and stay open to the possibility and stay open to what's next. And the vulnerability that so many people have had in losing certain identities, certain familiarities, certain comforts, right? Having to be right up against themselves and life and what they want next. So May was about staying open. June is about frequency over details. I want to explain it like this. The frequency over details is basically what got me into working with the Akashic Records and just really looking at things from that framework. And just my whole life, I've just been very curious, and I really want the story underneath the story. So frequency over details is one way people sometimes do it is you can be very wrapped up and upset about a story, and someone might tell you, all right, that's the story. That's the thing you're upset about. How does it feel in your body? So that's one way to start to feel what frequency over details is like. You're telling me all the details of this. Feel into your body. And sometimes the story we're feeling angry about or frustrated about, or the intellectual story tells us one thing. And when we drop into the body, we realize, oh, wow, there's actually a relief. I don't have to deal with that person. There's actually an excitement about what's new. So one way we can start that's kind of the baseline learning frequency over story, is learning that there's an intellectual idea or pattern that our brain is used to, and then we can drop in and we can actually feel the information of our body, and our body can tell us how we're really feeling. So right now, the way frequency and story would work, and that's why I love the Akashic Records, because when you work with the Akashic Records, you're opening, I think of it you're opening the filing cabinet to the universe, and everything as a file. And so it's okay, let's open the file of this particular person or thing that we're working on, and let's drop in to the feeling and the deeper story underneath this story. So right now, there's a lot of different stories and experiences happening, right? There's a huge opening, and everything we've kind of known needed to happen for the world to go in the direction we say we've wanted the world to go to. And maybe I'm speaking to a specific group of people with that. It's how else did we think this was going to happen? This is the change of relationship resonance. Everything had to not make sense anymore, and everything kind of had to pause, and this is how it needed to be. And so I'm noticing, number one, we're going into a deep energy, feeling, frequency over details this weekend, including into tomorrow. because we're going into a summer solstice, which energetically is a very powerful, hot opening. And then we have Father's Day. And we all have all different feelings about Father's Day. Father is the first experience of literally being provided for and protected, right? The energy of father is supposed to provide and protect and create boundary. And we've all had a different experience of what the energy of fathers felt like, or if you are a father, what the energy of fathers felt like there. And then, of course, we're having this huge experience right now of examining our founding fathers, examining what the founding fathers put into place, examining how heroic our fathers really were, right, in the founding father way. So there's a lot of frequency and energy here. And then tomorrow is also Juneteenth, which is the anniversary of the emancipation of slavery. So all of these things already have a strong energy to it and have a strong history depending on who we are. There's a strong epigenetic energy around every one of those things. And just as a human being on earth, you're tuned in with everybody, whether you realize it or not. So there's a strong feeling there. Never before have all of these things in my memory of myself and like my lifetime been so like charged, and they're all coming together during this time that is so charged and such a big storm. So I just wanted to acknowledge that there's I would sense that there would be a lot of strong feelings, and it's also just always a good thing to take what's going on in the external and feel your own experience of it in the internal, because then you can actually participate in the world. And so it's a great time to investigate all of that in you, your own feelings of father and emancipation and just the energy of all of that. I have a feeling it's going to come up really strongly in the collective protest experience that's happening right now. And there's a lot of people opening themselves and investigating things that they haven't before. There's a lot of us who are being re-traumatized or traumatized, you know, in the experience of what's happening right now. And so I just want to remind us that when we're doing really deep work, when we're really changing everything, when we are really experiencing death and birth, it's a marathon, not a race, not a sprint. And so there's a lot of us that are investigating, and that's what's cool. Like, it really has changed, isn't it? Like, all of us really dropped a level deeper than we ever have before in all of these areas, especially around racism. Like, have we ever dropped to this level of self-inquiry before? I've never seen that. So it's a really amazing and exciting time to stay open, but it's a lot is being brought up for a lot of us. And so let's just remember that when we're doing this sort of deep excavation work, or we're going through birth or death, it's a marathon, not a race. You have to make sure, in order for this to really have the sustainability and go the distance, the way it seems like the energy wants to go now, we really need to take care of ourselves. We need to learn how to like be in the rhythm and the pace that allows consistency. And that's true for like a relationship to anything, right? To other people, to business, to money, to like our health and how we're taking care of ourselves. It's always got to be, it's a marathon, not a race, not a sprint. Definitely in this last year when I went through just a tremendous amount of grief and trauma, like I would get that message a lot from my brother, like, remember, this is a marathon. So we want to make sure that we are taking assessment of like what we need to keep staying conscious and present and connected to what's happening in the world. Like, how do we need to take care of ourselves so we don't totally burn out and spin out? That's number one. We're also going to do a little activation with the Akasha in a minute. Number two is the message of today, which I will write and put in here. And I'd love to hear any comments or anything you're experiencing in the comments if you'd like to as well. It's good to see you all here. So the divisiveness. So listen, okay, we started there. I think I'm going a lot of places. This energy is pretty potent. So we started with the idea of like, okay, frequency over details. The details in the story sometimes in our life can make us feel one way. When we drop into our body, we actually realize we're feeling another. So right now there's so much polarization and so much divisiveness, and it seems like so many people have so many different opinions, and everyone has a story of like, this is how we need to move forward. This is how it needs to work. And the way it will only work is if everyone agrees with me on this point. And so it can feel very divisive right now. And story can transform, right? Like there's facts, and then there's just facts. And then there's the felt experience of those facts and the felt opinion of those facts, which is where a lot of us are, right? And so the story is what tells us, what we think is the story is what tells us that we're on one side or another. And the truth is, story transforms. Our personal narrative transforms, as time continues, as we grow and learn, as we resolve different things that need to be resolved. The story and the details actually can shapeshift. The frequency is the great truth teller. And so we probably have more commonality than we realize if we feel into the frequency rather than the story. Like there's so many posts and opinions and messages and videos and talks that people are giving that seem so separate from each other. But what if we just drop into the energy? What is the actual frequency of that video or that post? And things that look really polarized and really different and really on one side versus another can actually be a very similar frequency. So right now, if you say you've been doing the work, I am also really speaking to the people who there's a big group of, there's like a lot of people I'm noticing who have been doing the consciousness work for a long time and are really leaning out of participating in the reality so many people are having around this healing of racism, and saying it's not, that's not really the bigger story. The bigger story is this other thing that's happening. It's a different dimensional thing that's happening. And this is all manufactured or a simulation. And really, isn't all of Earth a simulation? Isn't everything just a thing that's in front of us that's happening? Isn't everything just, if you're a spiritual person, it's like the whole thing is a manufactured simulation. We come down, a spirit comes down into a body to have this experience, and different things are placed in your path to grow and to learn. So people who are saying this has been manufactured or set up, it's like, I just sort of feel like you could say that about the whole freaking thing about being a human being. And to me, the more interesting story is being there in the reality that's right here in front of us right now. If there is a different dimensional reality that's happening, if there are other people who are doing things behind the scenes, there's no way to get there from here. We have to start with the energy that's right in front of us, and we have to begin. And if you want people to be present and connect and wake up, you have to decide to participate and connect with the tipping point energy that's right here. And the tipping point energy that's right here is people having really strong feelings and realizations and illuminations around the story of a trauma created country that we live in, and the experience of injustice that's been interwoven in really just the creation of all society. So that to me is this to me is if you're someone who's doing the work, hold the energy of this right now. Yes, that could all be happening, but participate in this. Feel into the energy beneath the details and see where this lines up with the thing that you think is the most important thing to be focused on right now. And let's ground what we say we know is the true frequency, and really become compassionate to people who are meeting us there through their discovery of what's happening right now. So 2020, the year of 2020, the message I got was this will be the year of wholeness. And I think we are coming into wholeness, even though it looks so segmented. We are coming into a frequency of wholeness, and we're just illuminating the places that don't allow us to all feel whole in our life experience and our human experience. Right now, a lot of traumatic experiences are happening for a lot of people who are choosing to participate. It's traumatic it's beautiful and traumatic, and I think human experience is beautiful and traumatic, but I think people are having traumatic experiences with healthcare and with the experience of the virus, and then they're having traumatic experiences of seeing the videos of people being cruel and racist, seeing people just be so angry and divisive with each other, watching, news of what is someone about to get shot or not, when they were showing all these different stand-offs at these protests. Regardless of what you think the origin of the creation of all that is, it's reality now. It's in this dimension, and people are experiencing it, and it's very real to the people who are physically there and experiencing this. And so we need to receive and hold that. If we say we're the people who've been doing our work to be here on the planet at this time, step off the ledge that keeps you from participating and being with people who are experiencing this reality right now, and be there. Stay open and hold it, and try to find the commonality in the frequency versus the details. Right now, a lot of people are going to be reacting and responding. And so there's a very knee-jerk reaction, because everyone is always just trying to, self-preserve. So right now, self-preservation is happening for a lot of companies and a lot of people by immediately saying, of course this has always mattered to us, or oh my God, it didn't matter, and now we're going to make it matter. And there's a lot of knee-jerk things that are happening, and I see a lot of people calling that out as inauthentic, or maybe even seeing it as like a witch hunt. And I don't see it as that. I just see that we're all in a trauma response, and yes, some knee-jerk things are happening, but really just everyone's trying to get on the same page and on the same energy. And right now, we are witnessing hurt and trauma that Black people have gone through in our country in a way we never have collectively before. And so this is a time for us to just acknowledge that and hold that, and let there be the reactiveness, the reactivity, and whatever it needs to be right now, let it be. We're all just still digesting being on the same page at this level, being connected to each other in the way we've had to be in this year at this level, and now allowing the illumination of what so many people have gone through. Like, it isn't the moment where every right thing is going to happen. Like, this isn't yet the moment where every decision people make is sustainable, is authentic, is grounded in education. Like, yes, a lot of what's happening right now is going to be knee-jerk, and then it's going to get digested, and then we can start to make some real changes that are sustainable. And of course, hopefully a lot of the changes that are happening right now for more justice are sustainable. But I just see a lot of like woke people leaned out being like, this is manufactured, or, oh, the things that are happening right now aren't how people really feel. Like, we're just in the moment where we just need to hold the hurt. We need to just witness the trauma people have been through epigenetically and in their current lifetime. Sometimes, and maybe you've experienced with this before, but sometimes like you're so hurt that you're not ready for the solution yet. Have you ever had that experience of just feeling like so in pain, so devastated that it's not time for a full, sustainable, long-lasting change or resolution? It's just time to finally be witnessed. That's where I feel like we are in a collective moment right now, is let's make the changes the best we can. Let's educate ourselves. Let's get on board. Let's let people feel the way they need to feel and express what they need to express, especially, obviously, people of color. Like, let the hurt and the trauma be released and witnessed right now. And as we do that together, and as people have a more connected experience of really acknowledging that together in a way like we haven't before, then we can really become educated and grounded in this area in a way we hadn't been before. And then more and more decisions can be made that are truly fair and just and sustainable long-term, aren't just a PR campaign or whatever it is. Like, the truth is we just are witnessing the pain, and then we will continue to ground it, And I just do feel like that frequency is going to be very powerful this weekend around the energy of fatherhood, around the energy of this anniversary of the emancipation and how far we've come or not come since that time. And of course, also the summer solstice. So that was the message that came through really strongly. I will write it up and put it here later. And I'd like to just end with a connection to the frequency, like a little Akashic activation. So let's just take a few breaths here. Breathing in the energy, the frequency that would really heal, first of all, really support you to keep going in this process. So if you're knowing you need more rest or love or support or money or free time or sunshine or softness, whatever it is, fun, just feel what frequency would really support you to stay grounded and responsive rather than reactive, and like not just burn out, get excited and burn out. Like we're in it for the long haul. This is a marathon, not a race. This is a healing that will go on for the rest of all of our lives. So I want you to just to remind you, to add some gravity to that, I want you to just breathe in the frequency of that which would allow you to stay connected to what's happening right now. And what you can do is just think about what that is and then let it become like a color, an image, a texture, and just breathe in here and let yourself breathe it in. Another several breaths here. Breathe in that frequency. Now, what I like to do when I work with people or work with myself is keep breathing in that frequency. And then what I like to do is notice where I feel that breath go. Like, where do I really need that frequency? So then it's like you breathe in the frequency of more fun or more rest or more trust or whatever. More trust feels like a strong one for us. So let's just like breathe in the frequency of more trust. And then exhale out and notice where it wants to go. Is it in your belly? Is it in your heart? Is it in your throat? Do the shoulders soften? Let's take a few more breaths that way. Beautiful. And let's just be in silence for a moment and just let that really ground in your body, the frequency of what you need. Knowing that the more of what we are, we're a match to that. So the more divisive we are, the more a match to divisive experiences we are, the more trusting we are, the more open-hearted we are, the more open-hearted experiences we'll find, the more, all of that. Remembering you're really a match to the frequency you're breathing in and allowing more of that. And then the more of us who are this frequency we know we need right now, then the more connected we are to creating more of that in the world. So just take another minute here. Let's go into quiet. Just become that frequency over the details of your life. Become the frequency. Beautiful. And now feel if your body has gotten more soft, more relaxed, like what's happening with your body, maybe more energized, maybe you're feeling apathetic and you're feeling more like charged up. And now we're just opening the Akashic record for June for this group of people who are meant to be watching this right now, live or recorded. And just feel how protected you are It is your job to be the frequency you're breathing in right now, to protect that frequency and to know that you are protected, that it's safe for you to stay in this frequency of open-heartedness, compassion, trust, joy, rest. You have so many guides and guardians, ancestors who are watching over us right now, who are the continuation, like we are the continuation of all of these family trees. So often when I work with people, it's like, oh, we're doing the work that wasn't available 500 years ago. We didn't have this sort of therapy. We didn't have this sort of consciousness. We didn't have this sort of opportunity to right this wrong or to be this free. And so we are just the continuation of where we've come from, of the origin of all of this. And we are doing the work, and we are being the energy that can be now, that can be now. We are the frequency that finally can be now. So just feel that protection that's all around you. Receive it, breathe it, know it, become it. Really good. And now, as we have added in the frequency of protection, let's now just with the next breath in, breathe that into your heart, wrap it in love. And as you exhale out, send that frequency of protection and whatever else you added to it into the world. And let's protect this healing process. Let's protect any people who are on the front lines of in every dimension and in every way you could be on the front lines right now, which is all of us in our own way. But send out that energy of protection where it needs to go, where you're guided to go right now. Let's take the next few breaths and just bring it there. In every household, in every car, and on every street, at every protest and march, in every underground bunker, in every room, in every mind, in every body, in every heart, let this protection be there so that we can continue this process, so that this can be the ultimate marathon and not a sprint where we burn out. May we begin to feel the energy that brings us into commonality rather than getting caught in the opinions and divisive stories that keep us from feeling like we can really win together. May we be open to transforming the narrative so that it's one where we actually can all evolve and heal and grow. So we know that everything that needed to be cleared here, permanently released and cleared. Every frequency that needed to be brought in today, permanently brought in, and with us, and with all of those that we sent love and protection to. Just have a lot of gratitude right now to this technology, to the nature that is loving and holding us in this, to the Akasha, to all the work that is bringing us forward, to each one of you for just taking the time to stay in this with me right now, to each one of you who just are here and present and staying connected even though it's hard, to everyone who is allowing their life purpose to be the evolution, even if that means transition into the next form, into the next world. Thank you. To everyone who is offering the frequency of Father in a way that is truly loving, protective, nourishing, and holding. Thank you. To all the origins of all ancestors who brought us to this point, to all of the people who were bound, who we will be honoring tomorrow. Thank you. We protect your memory. We protect the energy you gave. We create a new opportunity for this country and this land to be held in a different frequency than trauma and oppression. Thank you. We know the work will continue beyond this time. We know we're always connected by heart. We're always connected by heart. We're always connected by heart. And for now, we breathe back into existence. The door between worlds and the records are closed. And so it is. Thank you very much for being here. Take care of yourself this weekend. Good to see you all here. If there's anything you want to share, feel free to share. And talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.